These two guys are legends in the business, two of the nicest guys I've met. I'm going to read off the card what they wrote because it sounds like this stuff they want me to say. But a husband and father, Johnjay, is constantly looking for unusual ways to improve his health and lifestyle, even if it kills him. And if you ever followed him on Instagram, he does some crazy stuff. Baskets under his neck to get rid of the double chin. It's nuts what the guy will do. Rich Bear is a quick-witted and instigator, dad of 3 young children and husband to a wife from the middle of Texas. If you like him, he'll make you a mixtape. Together they are Johnjay and Rich morning show. Listen to them weekdays, 5:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. on 104.7 KISS FM. So ladies and gentlemen, have a big warm welcome for Johnjay and Rich. Come on out, guys. So this is Johnjay, Rich. So first of all, these are the parents and grandparents of your listeners. If there's anything you'd like to apologize for, now's the time.
We just did it for the ratings. We're so sorry.
Hey, I do want to say this. Do you guys like the band U2? Because you guys are here tomorrow morning on our show on 104.7 at 8:20, we're giving away U2 tickets.
But you'll be listening to my show, so don't bother. It'll be...
I'm just saying.
What's your problem? Stop knocking this off.
I'm looking at it. I'm trying to. I know our target demo. All right.
So let's talk a little bit about your rise to fame. You guys have really become, what did you just crossed, 3 years now you've been #1 in Tucson, right? Is that what they said?
17 years.
17 years? No, how long? You've been #1 in Tucson? 17 years in a row.
We're the longest running morning show in Tucson. We're on KFYI in Tucson. We came on after Tim and Willie. Yeah, so you had Tim and Willie on KFYI. You had Jimmy Kimmel was on KFYI, and we're on KFYI. So everyone's gone on, like, Tim went to Chicago, all these great things, and we're pretty much plateaued.
Yeah, plateau. Listen, if I could plateau like you guys, I'd be thrilled about that. Because now we've seen you perform quite a few times. You are an amazing musician and singer. Which is more fun for you? Is it this stuff, live crowd stuff, or the radio show?
The show is great. The show is everything. Going out and playing music is fun. That's like a nice release after a work week. But the connection with the audience is everything, and the connection with Johnjay too. It's like, we definitely come from the school of believing that we are auditioning every day to be on the radio, and we don't take it for granted. Not even one single break do we take for granted.
How did you guys meet and team up? How'd that happen?
Well, I'm from Arizona, but I was doing a radio show in Houston, and Rich was in Dallas, and I was my wife and I were trying to start a family, have babies, and we had we lost twins. It was miserable. We had a miserable experience. So we're like, need to focus on our health and having babies. So I was talking to a talent coach, and he was like, why don't you interview people and maybe you can bring somebody on, find a partner. So I went interviewing for partners, and I met Rich at a radio seminar in New Orleans in 2000, and then we started in Tucson, 2001.
And how long did it take for that to gel for you guys? When you felt like the Johnjay and Rich show was going to be what you wanted it to be?
It was pretty quick. We decided to just audition by taping a show at midnight in this Houston radio station, and we both got our Rolodexes and started calling celebrities, and they were not happy to hear from us at all, which was incredible radio. And we
Dick
said
Van Dyke and Jervis from Survivor, season 1.
Well, I mean, it was midnight. You can't get a 5-star celebrity to pick up their phone at midnight. And we didn't have a 5-star Rolodex. But there was something about Arizona. There was something about Tucson. We'd gotten job offers, and I remember this day was crazy. We were getting ready to move, and the moving trucks were loading us up because we had these job offers. So we knew that we were going to start somewhere. But we had contracts like from Seattle, Cincinnati, Miami, Washington, D.C. And the moving guy says, I don't have the address where we're taking this. I'm like, well, it's either Seattle, Cincinnati, Miami. So we had no idea.
I'm on the phone with the agent and different radio stations. And Rich, I'm click, click, hold on, click, click. Well, this is click, click, click. And then Tucson goes, look, you guys can do whatever you want. You don't have to play music. You can just do whatever you want. And that was it. Because the bigger the city, because that's what I learned in Houston, they were like, you can't do the stuff you're doing. You can't do that here. Tucson said, do whatever you guys want. And so we were like, it wasn't about money.
They didn't realize how dangerous that was to say that.
They did eventually. Okay. But it wasn't about the money. See, when I went to Houston, that was a move. Tim was talking about. He learned a lot of things. One of the things I learned was never take a job for money, never move for money. And I moved from Cincinnati to Houston for a lot of money, and I was miserable. and I will never do that again. So we took a giant step backwards money-wise to go to Tucson, but to have the freedom to do whatever we wanted, and then hopefully take a leap forward at some point.
How many radio stations are you on now?
It depends. A lot canceled today.
I think we're like 25. It's, and with iHeartMedia, though, you can listen to us all over. I can tell you our podcast, I found out today, for the month, and we're not done with, what are we, June? We're at over 1 million downloads of our podcast already. And for being in Phoenix, what do you think is the number? Phoenix is the number 1 city that downloads our podcast. What do you think is the number 2 city in the
Tucson?
country? Los Angeles.
10th city.
Wow,
Isn't
10th
that
city.
weird?
Speaking of which, one of my favorite stories is some genius at our radio station at KFYI thought when I was off in the afternoons one day, why not let these guys fill in for me on KFYI? Didn't you call Joe Arpaio Your Honor?
Yeah, I didn't know. I don't get the whole who's what.
I was out of town. How'd that go? I mean, you didn't get invited back, so I didn't know what that meant.
No. Well, we were trying to get his whole take on illegal space aliens, and he was not playing along.
So when you were talking about okay, all right, I get it.
I mean, I listened to George Norrie.
I don't know I don't know why you did that.
I thought it was great. I thought it was a great idea, especially if you were going to have Arpaio on. That would have been the generation gap there. That would have just been hysterical. Did you get him to sing Frank Sinatra? He sings Sinatra everywhere he goes.
Oh, you know what? Have us back. We'll do it.
He's available now, too, by the way.
That was fun, though.
Okay, I'm sorry. So let's talk about some of the other things you're doing, because what has really gone, I've seen the way you guys use social media makes everybody in our building jealous. You guys are great at social media. But when you started the Love Up campaign, what motivated that? And did you have any idea that that was going to become what it became?
Well, honestly, I had a pretty
And first of all, I'm sorry,
vibe.
tell them what that is, because I don't know if all of them know
Love
what
Up is this, it means like pay it forward, like do something kind so that you remember to just remind people to do something nice for each other every day. Is it up on the thing? No, it's Love Pup. So, quick story, my son is an athlete and he plays football, and Kurt Warner was his football coach. And Kurt Warner's son was the quarterback, and my son was the receiver, and Kurt was out of town, and he was texting me, asking me the play-by-play, what's going on? And I'm like, man, I don't know football language. So I was like texting him stuff, and he was getting frustrated that he wanted to FaceTime me, and I was denying the FaceTime. And then he goes, what happened? So his son threw a pass to my son, and he scored a touchdown, and we won the game. And I go, we just won the game. And he texts back to me, he says, Love Up. And he goes, I mean, love it. He goes, stupid autocorrect. And I was like, I was looking at Love Up, and I was like, Kurt, this is huge. You got to take Love Up, and you should make that like you're paid forward. And he just laughed. And this is on Saturday. He just laughed. And on Sunday, it was sticking with me big time. And on Monday, I said to Rich, I open up the mic, so I said, I got to tell you a story. I tell Rich the story, and I said, I think hashtag Love Up can be something. That could be like a movement. We could do something. We could change the world. We could tell people to just do something nice for somebody. If it's hold open the door for somebody. I did that today at PetSmart. The old lady was way over the hell over there, and I was like, it was hot, and I was opening the door, and I was like, I'm just gonna wait. And I just waited, and I waited. It was a tiny little thing, Inconvenience yourself for 30 seconds to let this lady come through.
But this is the guy who won't let anybody ride in the elevator with him at work.
I need my
That's
space.
love down. That's different.
Then you buy somebody a Starbucks, or it could be we have
Right.
people pay college tuition for somebody. Anyway, we're talking about on the air that day, and the next day somebody brought me a T-shirt with Love Up on it, hashtag Love Up. I put it on my Instagram, and I said, hey, if you want to buy these shirts, go here. So about a month later, this guy shows up, and he has a check, and the check's for $25,000. And I said, what's this? And he says, that's how many T-shirts we sold. It's for you. And I was like, what? And so we just started selling T-shirts and coming up with different themes, and now we've sold over $500,000 in T-shirts, and we use that to help kids in foster care in the state of Arizona. So we're paying it forward.
So stop. The charity used to be the Johnjay and Rich Cares for Kids Foundation, and it's pretty simple. Adults screw up stuff all the time, but kids are the ones that suffer from it. And we started around Christmas time with our Christmas Wish, and we would just treat these kids that have come from broken homes, or maybe one of their parents screwed up and the mom's struggling, and we would blow out Christmas for them. I mean, what, remodeling sometimes homes?
Yeah,
we bought cars, scholarships, all that stuff.
You guys are like Oprah.
We tried. We tried doing that.
You get a new car, and you get a...
This is where the connection part comes in with our audience. Not us. We just ask for it, and the audience comes through every time. I mean, the show's the vessel. So as Love Up starts selling T-shirts, and we get calls from the state saying people don't know about the foster care problem in Arizona, and I mean, I hope there's not too many government people here, but give government anything to do, and they'll screw it up. Put it in the hands
Man,
of the
it's the
people.
right crowd to say that too. I'll tell you that.
I
right
hear
now.
an amen. Put it in the hands of the people who really, do you want government and state boards taking care of kids? I mean, you don't. I mean, right now, there are 8,000 to 12,000 kids just waiting to get inside a foster home in Arizona, and we have done a horrible job stewarding these kids. 98% of people on death row grew up in the foster system. Our show's about connection. Life is about connection. If kids don't get connected, what do? They end up, getting kicked out of homes when they're 18. They're not connected to anybody. They have no guide to go on. You do what you do to survive, and it's just this endless cycle that, one thing that we do have is we have an active audience, and we have really big mouths. So we get the word out about foster care. Even if you can't take in kids, please mentor kids. And we do a party every year now for foster kids that are aging out, and we just ask them, tell us something that you want, and we have a party for 500 kids, and we'll buy each one of them something that they want. It's all wrapped, and we call their name, and we give them the present, and it's a beautiful thing. But man, what they're asking for, it's not like they're asking for Game Boys. They're asking for oil changing kits, dish towels, pots and pans. I mean, there is an epidemic right here with foster care that's selling these Love Up shirts. It goes to help these kids. We buy presents with that money from these T-shirts.
So where, if they want the T-shirts, where can they get them?
You go to our website, johnjayrich.com. We have the loveupfoundation.org. That's one way, or johnjayrich.com.
Okay. And then it morphed into the Love Pup, hashtag Love Pup.
Well, I've been saving dogs my whole life, and then at one point a few years ago, there was a Chihuahua that we found, and I've set up on dates. By the way, I set up like 5 people on dates, and those 5 people end up getting married, and so I was pretty good at that. So when I found this Chihuahua, and I put it on my Instagram account, and I found this when I met this family that I set them up with. It was magic when the people found the Chihuahua. When I said, "Here you go, here's the Chihuahua," and they were like, "Oh my God!" It was like this beautiful moment, and I went on the air and I said, "I'm really good at this. Like, I'm better at this than matchmaking." And then my social media went nuts, where everyone's like, "I found a stray over here. I'm moving and I can't take care of my dog. My mom's dying and can you take her dogs?" And it was just all of a sudden, I was like, sure. So long story short, Love Pup started out of that. And as we speak, I have 25 dogs in my house. You
have 25
I have
dogs
25
in your house?
dogs
It's utter chaos.
in
Utter
my
chaos.
house right now. I have 4 webcams. You can log on if you go to johnjayrich.com. I don't know if they could show. Oh yeah, that's my my laundry room and my guest house. This is right now, right? This is right now. There was 2 weeks ago, somebody dropped off 12 puppies in the dumpster, and somebody found them and brought them to me. It's Sunday morning.
And if you look in the back, you can see Johnjay's wife packing his stuff in the back.
Right. My wife and kids helped me. Well, they do. It's a big family affair. We were written up in People magazine a couple weeks, so it was a great little article. But my wife and kids are involved. But they went to Pine Top during the summertime because it's 70, right? So I'm alone. When they left, there wasn't 24 dogs. Now that I'm alone, I have 24 dogs. So it's a little crazy. And some of the dogs have parasites. So I have dogs in the laundry room. I have dogs in the bathroom. I have dogs in the guest house. They're everywhere. And if my wife was home right now, she would go mental.
Why don't we take this half of the audience over here? You get a puppy. You get a puppy. You
should have brought them. That should have been just hand them one on the way in.
I have some of these are up for adoption right now. I got to wait there because some of these puppies are like 4 weeks old. They got to get to a certain. So you could go to johnjayrich.com. You can go to Love Pup Foundation. You can donate, or you go to my Instagram too. I'm always. I found a home for a dog today. I'm picking up 2 dogs tomorrow. And the thing is too. Everything we're sharing with you right now, Love Up and Love Pup, it's totally organic and authentic. It's not like some radio show says, okay, we got to find a mission. What are we going to do? This is stuff that grew from the show, from our passion. When we talk about foster care, my oldest son's adopted. And if we didn't have him, he'd be in the foster care system right now. So it's like everything we talk about, we bleed and we breathe. And the puppies, I have 6 dogs that they're all foster dogs. What the hell are they called now?
Rescue dogs.
Rescue dogs.
Rescue dogs.
I have 1 rescue kid, and I have 6 foster dogs, and it's crazy at my house. But you know what? It's a lot of fun.
So the fun part of the idea we had for these talks was to let you meet some of the people that work in our building. And genuinely, you two have been. I came to you when I first started in this business for advice on a number of things. And you
Sorry about that.
Well, no, actually, it's working out pretty good so far. I got to say that you have been two of the kindest, nicest people to me personally. But those stories of what you're doing and reaching out when you could be the celebrities that you really are. We have friends that I introduced you to. When they found out I knew you, they couldn't wait to meet you. It's a mother and daughter that just absolutely listen to you every day and text each other what you're saying. And you were so kind and gracious to them. And so I want to say thank you for me, but also thanks for sharing your story with the audience. And how about a round of applause for Johnjay and Rich?
Broomy. Look, Mike Broomhead is one of the greatest radio people of all time, and we just want to say, for our show, it is truly about the connection to the kids, the connection to the dog, the connection to the audience is everything, and Mike's a big part of that for that. So thank you very much. Thanks, Mike.
Hey, also, the people he brought in to say hi, then he left and just left him in our studio. It was like
I didn't want to talk to them.
like
They were there to
awkward.
see them.
It was like awkward. Then we take pictures, we hang out. We're like, okay, so we gonna do a radio show now? And they're like,
Well, the best
hanging
part
out.
is the father is a pastor at a church, and whenever I talk about them, he just goes, oh. And it's his wife and his daughter that love your show, so it's great.
Broomhead's a solid guy. So thank you guys for having us. And hey, our trainer, Mitch, is Mitch here? Where's Mitch?
There he is in the back.
Where? I don't see him. Where's Mitch? Oh, there he is. Mitch, Urban
He's
Garage.
the guy
Great
with the
gym.
big stovepipes for arms.
Right there.
Yeah.
Urban Garage Gym. Beautiful. One of the greatest, most authentic trainers in the world. If any of you guys are looking at fitness, health, and fitness, right over here, Urban Garage.
What he's saying is some of you guys could use it, so go and see Mitch.
Especially you right over there.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.